Feeling bullish about South Florida. This is Nico Gramatica on for the win against Florida. Got it? Yes, the son of Martin Gramatica. And South Florida upsets Florida 18-16. USF comes into Gainesville and wins this game. Are you kidding me? No, I am not. And Billy Napier on the hot seat last year, taken off of it, very much back on the hot seat. Shouts to Alex Galesh and his kids getting it done as they hit the game-winning field goal. This is the first win against Florida in program history. DJ Lagway, first career loss when starting and finishing a game. He threw a touchdown. He threw a pick. The Gators offense could not generate anything late, and they lose stunned at home in the Swamp. All right, back here with Kenjon Barner and Richard Johnson. And Richard, this hits home. You are a Florida grad. Your reaction to what the heck just happened right there?
It is yet another disappointment for Billy Napier and Billy Napier's Florida regime. This is year 3. This is the year that you're supposed to turn the corner. This is not the year that you're supposed to lose at home to USF as a 17.5-point favorite. I thought DJ Lagway, yeah, I think the stats are okay, but there are little things that Florida was not able to do to put this game away, or at least in the beginning of it, get out to a big lead. They had to settle for field goals earlier in this game. And then at the end of the game, you see a player get ejected for spitting, and then you see another player get flagged for pass interference. You gift USF 30 yards. And you let them walk into field goal range. And obviously, they got to the doorstep of the goal line in the end. But USF was able to move the ball like that because you gifted it. They started in the shadow of their own goalposts on that final drive. This is just an encapsulation right now of the Billy Napier era to date, in the sense of they come out in a spot where you expect them to be able to handle business, but they show that they are still so far away the standard that the program has for itself.
This is absolutely disappointing for Gators fans. It's absolutely disappointing for a program that was trying to make a run here this season, a program that's trying to make a move in a difficult SEC, and now you stub your toe against USF, and on top of it, we got spitting. Like this, you got to, number one, clean that up. Your program, this is just, I get it. The frustrations, we saw this the other night in the season opener in the NFL, a Georgia grad. Like, what's going on here, Kenjon?
Listen, one thing you can't do in the game of football is shoot yourself in the foot. And this Florida team does this consistently. Games like this, Florida has, you're supposed to win the game. All the games you're supposed to win, and some of the games you're not supposed to. Florida loses games that they're supposed to win. And this is, as you stated, this has been under this Billy Napier regime. It's very unfortunate. One game shouldn't hurt you. It shouldn't cost you, right, in the layout of college football today. But a loss to USF might just kill your hopes.
Well, if you're Notre Dame, it's not going to hurt you. If you're Florida, it's going to hurt you.
In the SEC. Correct.
And I think you consider the way that they lost this game too, right? Billy Napier is supposed to be the details guy. He's supposed to be the guy who he has handwritten notes for his entire staff about what they need to do every single day. He is a guy who's supposed to be on his P's and Q's, but his team today was not. There's a ball that goes through a receiver's hands there in the fourth quarter that Florida probably could have iced the game. It's the little things. It's the details. It's catching a ball that, sure, it's a bit of a tough grab, but you bring that in and the game is effectively over. It is the little things that lose you football games. And also, while we're here, let's give credit to this USF program as well. USF has a massive win over Boise State in week 1, and then they come right back 10 days later and they win this massive game in the Swamp against Florida. So a big boon to Alex Galesh and what he's building down in Tampa. But of course, guys, this is also about Florida, more about Florida losing this game than it is USF winning.
All right, so now we ask the question after a big loss like this is we ask about the buyout. What is it for Billy Napier, and is now the hot seat back in the conversation?
What's around $20 million. And yes, the hot seat has to be in the conversation if it's year 3 and you're losing at home to USF as a 17.5-point favorite. At the University of Florida, that is simply not the standard. And if it is the standard, then you have to find somebody who can raise it. Because you could ask anybody connected to the University of Florida, when you look at a program like USF, and they did this last year where they had a pretty close shave against UCF too, there are programs in the state that you should not be losing to or almost losing to. And Florida's dealing with that right now. Florida's dealing with not being anywhere close to the standard. And they're going to play Miami later this month. It's LSU next week and then Miami later this month. And you might really see how far they've fallen, not just in the SEC, but within their own state, the state of Florida.
Could this be an instance where we see them let go of Billy Napier in the middle of the season?
If it continues down this path, I think there's going to be so much toxicity and so much vitriol that they may not have a choice. Now, let's see the season play out a little bit more. Maybe you get back off the schneid like they did last year. Last year, it was really bad heading into that Mississippi State game, and then they were able to get the ship righted, and then they closed the season on a high, and they played really well coming down the stretch. They're one of the hotter teams in the SEC, and they ended Ole Miss's playoff hopes, and they beat LSU as well at home. So it can be turned around, but right now, fellas, it ain't good.
It ain't good at all, and DJ Lagway wasn't good enough. What did you see out of him?
Again, it's little things and it's detail that were holding DJ Lagway back in this game. He did some good things. The touchdown throw that he had to Trey Wilson, for instance, that's a good throw. That's on the money. But it's little things. It's the way that he misses. He had a miss in the first quarter where, it just sails. It's an easy throw that he should be able to hit, but he misses it. It's little things that are holding him back right now from taking the next step in his development as a passer and as a player.
You look at this USF team, and look, maybe Miami should be on upset alert next week, right? Because now they're going to go for 3 straight ranked wins, back-to-back ranked wins over Boise State, now over Florida, again at Miami next week. Richard, are we talking about a situation where this is a team that could be the group of 5? We're talking about a playoff team, and I know it's early and we're week 2, but South Florida looking like the resume already as a contender to get into that college football playoff.
Yeah, as far as things stand in the American, that game against Memphis at the end of October is going to be key as far as USF potentially challenging for their conference and the group of 5 playoff berth. Again, they've already dispatched with Boise and they already have Florida, so they have 2 really, really good wins on the resume already. So we'll see what happens against Miami. I don't know if I'm going to call them beating the Canes because I think Miami's a really, really good team. But coming down the stretch, you see that schedule and you say, okay, well, USF might be the Boise of this year where they get in to the college football playoff.
If USF comes and put up a great game against Miami, looking at their schedule, I don't see why they wouldn't be the team that gets in, right?
Yeah.
But going back to Florida for a second, we're really harping on Billy Napier, right? But this is something that the players have to look at themselves, right? You went on it, you gave up 8 plays for 87 yards. You can't do that. Not only that, you have to take accountability for the things that you did, the penalty. That's not a coaching thing. That's a technique flaw. Spitting on somebody, that's not coaching. That's something personal. So players have to take account for what we do on that field. Coaches, yeah, they have to take accountability for the play calling, but at the same time, players have to do their part.
An upset in Gainesville, USF being paid $500,000 to play this game, and they beat Florida on the road. It's chaos in college football. You're sitting here going, nah, Florida's not going to lose. They're not going to lose at home in the swamp to USF. They did. They got upset. They were 17-point favorites. They had won 5 straight games at home. And look, this was a game to just get to their SEC schedule. Well, now they limp into their SEC schedule because they get beat by USF. Nico Gramatica. Shouts to the Gramatica family as they pull off the upset of the Florida Gators.